This your girl, Sheila Queen, and I'm back bringing you some more juice of this short time storytelling. For all my newcomers that need to get caught up, you can click the link in my bio at Flawed the Book on Instagram to catch up on this juice. Now let's get back to this story of last week's episode. Easy. While cruising the streets of Philadelphia, Easy couldn't keep his mind off Peaches. He thought of her day and night. If I couldn't have you, no one could, he thought to himself. I loved you, he shouted as he punched the steering wheel of his new G-Wagon. He tinted it out with red and white interior. He was into cars heavy. Being a drunk was beginning to become a wear and tear on Easy since Peach's death. But no matter what, he was always cautious of his surroundings. Pulling up to his brand new condo he had just purchased for him and Ada. Ada numbed him. She eased his pain when he was in need of Peaches. But when she wasn't near or couldn't be reached, alcohol soothed all his wounds. As he stumbled in, he landed on the couch, missing the floor by an inch. Ada's phone went straight to voicemail as he repeatedly called. Trick, don't make me act up, was what the message she left. Easy never spoke that way to Peaches. Ada had so many options when it came to men, but it was something about Easy. He knew he wasn't the only one. That's what led him to Peaches. Her loyalty. I messed up. He began to cry heavily. Ada brought out a different side of Easy. He had took her crap for almost 15 years. I guess you can say she was his main thing. She felt everything had to go her way up until Peaches came in the picture. Ada knew Easy was in love with Peaches, but Peaches wanted out, and Easy felt betrayed. If it was Ada in the park that day of the incident with Tori, it would have been Ada pulling the trigger. Ada wanted all the smoke. She knew everything about Easy and Peaches. He held nothing back from Ada. He felt there was no need to. She was extremely jealous and envious of the connection him and Peaches shared. To Easy, both Ada and Peaches resembled one another. The only difference was that Peaches wasn't with sharing. Ada, on the other hand, she couldn't care less, as long as Easy was there to fulfill her needs whenever she called. What made her pissed with Peaches was she felt neglected because he was beginning to ignore her. And no matter what, being that she came from a wealthy family, she received and had everything you could imagine. From the finer and designer clothes, furs, cars, and the land that her great-grandfather inherited, he left behind all for Ada. Her motto was her way or the highway, which made Easy deranged. He craved for a woman that was hardworking, that strived for what she wanted, and appreciated it. That's what he loved about Peaches. Ada was always self-centered her entire life, which reminded him of Bunny. It scared him a little because their actions were the same sometimes, he thought to himself. Ada and Bunny had to know each other. He prayed daily. How am I going to remove myself out of this crazy triangle? Easy was trying to show them both that it was other women out here just as smart as they were, less fortunate, but humble about it. Easy missed Peaches so much, and turning his back on Ada and Tori was hard to do. I dragged these scallywags for you, and this is the thanks I get? He screamed as he took a whole pint of Henny to the head. Tears began to roll down Easy's face. She can't be dead, he mumbled to himself. But he had left so fast the night of the incident, he couldn't even remember where he shot Peaches because he was intoxicated that night. I know she's not dead, is all he kept repeating as he cried himself to sleep. Dirty game. Autumn couldn't wait to tell her homegirl Winter about the blonde that left her number with a tip and a blessing. Her phone rang. Hello? Hey, it's me. I'm at the door. It was Winter. They both hated walking through the breezeway. The guys looked at them like they were a piece of meat. They were nothing but low-down dirty dogs. Autumn really didn't have a problem with Rock. He was cool. He rocked with Autumn the long way, too. He made sure she was safe and not disrespected. Rock begged Autumn to hook him up with her best friend, Winter. As she opened the door, they embraced each other tight, excited every time they seen one another. Between their friendship and work, that's all they knew. Out of all the friends Autumn came across, Winter was the realest. She brought her 2 sons, Cain and Abel. They ran to Autumn with open arms. She kissed, hugged them both, showing them the new Aqua Jordans she had purchased them for their birthday. Cain and Abel were twins. They had just turned 13. Thank you, Auntie, they both replied at the same time. Jinx, you owe me a dub, Cain told Abel. They laughed, both anxious to hop on the new GTA 5 Autumn had just purchased. They laid across Autumn's bed. Bessie time is what they called it. Girl, you're not gonna believe what happened at work, Autumn replied. Couldn't wait to spill the tea. She told Winter what went down from the beginning to the end. $2,600, a tip. The champagne was $2,400. They both pondered on calling. Call! Winter mushed Autumn across her head. You scared? She laughed with sarcasm. No, I'm not, but why? Autumn replied. Maybe she likes you, or maybe she's trying to finesse you. How? Autumn smacked her lips. Free sections at the club, you know how people are sometimes. Autumn giggled. She knew why her friend thought the way she did. Winter always had her guard up, and basically didn't put her trust in no one but Autumn. Her and her boys experienced it all, from sleeping pillow to pole. It was hard raising 2 kids on her own. Autumn helped when she could. She treated those boys as if they were hers. Cain and Abel didn't allow their misfortune to put stop on the faith they both had. The boys were gifted and anointed with the Holy Spirit. They lifted Winter whenever she was down. Cain looked over at his Aunt Autumn and replied, I told you God was going to make a way for you to get your car back, didn't I? She hugged him and whispered, I know, God favors me. He has us all covered, Cain replied. Not having much growing up was what they were used to, but Winter worked hard for the little that they did have. Winter didn't really have a family but her father. Her mother didn't care for her. She despised how close Winter and her pop's relationships were. Jealous of their relationship, it was sad. When he wasn't able to assist or help, her mother enjoyed watching Winter struggle. It made her feel good for some reason. Paula loved when her daughter needed her. She felt Winter had it too good because of her dad, up until she got pregnant by someone she thought she loved. Having kids at a young age was the grudge Paula held over her. Every time they had a disagreement, she would always throw her grandkids in it, stating, maybe you should have thought about keeping your legs closed. You wouldn't have to struggle. Winter would remind her by sending, do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you used, it will be measured to you. The so-called friends she thought she had laughed and talked behind her back constantly for no reason, just because they were ashamed of their own insecurities. Winter took care of her boys the best she could while being homeless. The struggle was real. When Autumn wasn't able to be there for her, that's when she had to call on the Most High. Praying and having faith made her stronger. They ordered food and had girl talk the whole night. Hand me your phone, Autumn, Winter replied. She then knew her friend had a plan up her sleeve and boy was she down for it. Toby had everything all planned out. There they sat, four to a table. The room was cozy. The lights were dim. Toby, Peaches, and Quan, who she was just introduced to. "So who's the empty chair for?" she asked. Toby puffed his cigar before answering. "I thought you never asked," he replied. Peaches had almost lost her breath as Rashad entered the room and sat next to her. You could hear both their hearts beating like drums, neither not knowing the right words to say. They had just stared at each other for at least an hour. Rashad was pissed. The woman he had yearned for daily for the past year had just rose from the dead. Peaches was nervous. As Toby spoke, Rashad held Peaches' hand. He understood the reason behind Peaches having to fake her death. "I feel it's best that we bring Rashad in," Toby replied. "Besides, Peaches, this man is madly in love with you." She remained silent. "Your family is okay. I've made sure of that." Toby continued. "No one knows you're alive but Rashad." A huge map of Philadelphia covered the table. All the locations of Rockin' Easy hangouts were highlighted. Information on their homes, cars. Rashad even had access to the house on the lawn where Ada lived. Speaking of the devil, she was not calling Rashad. She was sent to voicemail as usual. They had to give Peaches a rundown on the things she was in the blind about, having no knowledge of Ada and Easy's relationship. "So she set me up? She tricked me? She knew about me all along." Peaches stood up, tossed the table across the room. She began pacing back and forth. She felt her blood boiling under her skin. She then left the room, slammed the door with Rashad right on her heels. While waiting on the elevator, she kicked and pounded on the walls in the lobby. This was Peaches' breaking point. He tried holding her to calm her down. She tried resisting. "Let it go, P. Let it all out." Rashad felt Peaches' pain. "We're going to get this taken care of, I promise," as he planted a kiss on her forehead. They both held each other, crying hysterically. "How can people be so evil and cruel?" Peaches spoke, as her words slurred. "I wanted to reach out to you." She began to cry uncontrollably. "I never meant to lie or hurt you in any way," she replied. "I'm just so happy you're really here. I was going through it missing you." "I'm loving the new look," as he took a step back, sizing her up from head to toe. They couldn't stop hugging. "You good now. I'm going to make sure of this." He took her by the hand, and they both headed up, back to the 54th floor. To be continued. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.